Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of UFO Encounters, a cryptid phenomenon. Hello, Denise. Hello, Judy Greenfield, Roger. Yeah, welcome. Hopefully, everybody's having a good Monday. How you doing there, Russ?
Okay, thanks, Grizzly. Yourself?
Wonderful. Just make sure, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to click down below in our subscription there and follow us, like and subscribe down there. And also, we got our affiliates tabs down there in the description and our YouTube channel too. Make sure if you're looking for any lighting, microphones, trail cams, dash cams, or any lighting or any sorts of, I don't know, products, we got all kinds. Click on the links and let our affiliates know. Hello, how do you say that? Cassadilla? Cassidy? Lightwing? Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. You gotta excuse my southern yeah, it's live. Yeah, we're live. Welcome to the show. So glad to have you and glad for tuning in. So yeah, absolutely. So what's going on? Just say Cassidy. Cassidy. There we go. Yay! Yeah, it's my southern twang there. So yeah, you got to bear with me there. Just as long as we don't say pigs in a blanket around Russ. So we had to educate each other on that between the USA and UK, mate. But yes. So yeah. So what's going on with you, Russ?
Well, to be quite honest, trying to get me computer and my laptop back on track. After the war act, I had lots of problems, so I've got editing packages which I've been trying to use, and so I'm just starting to go back to using some of them because I've got a strange object that has turned up on my security camera.
You did.
Yeah, because I haven't been getting out as much and what have you, and I decided to put one of these cameras up. I've been getting quite a lot of strange stuff, a bit like Lala's, like her and Bob stuff, like strange things, with security cameras. But this thing, what I've been looking at, and I've been sat down trying to make sense of what it is. And it's two objects which are there for 15 minutes and over. And an object comes down, and I thought it was a spider at first. And I thought, oh, that's a spider. And, sort of like, anyway, I was sat down last night and I was going through everything again and deleting the videos what I didn't think were any good and what have you.
Right.
And basically kickstarting it again, and it wipes it, and then you've got a clean state to record again. So I've been getting all these things off the SD card, wiping it clean. And I thought I'll just check that there's nothing any good on this footage. So I comes across a light that comes and it sort of like swirls around, it slows down, almost stops, and then takes off. And then that happens about twice. And then I come across these two lights. Now, these two lights keep on turning up every so often. And I'm looking and watching, and I see this light come down, this thing come down. I'm thinking, oh, it must be a spider, in front of the camera coming down. And anyway, so I thought I'll watch this, because I'm going to do some grabs, take some pictures of it. So I slowed it down, and then I realised, and I'm thinking this is strange because the two lights, what happens is this object comes down and seems to swallow the two lights. and then it comes down and it sort of like disappears, and then the two lights are there again. So it's traveled down with these two lights, disappeared, and the two lights have become visible again. So I'm thinking, that wasn't a spider, you know, and it's a fairly big size object to come down out of the sky. So anyway, what I'm doing at the moment, I'm just seeing if one of my a person that I know that's in the media may be interested in doing a feature on it. Because
Right.
what I keep on reading, and I've just read before I came on the show, that we're getting a lot of people in UK basically saying that we've got areas where there's a lot of UFOs seen and what have you. But the thing is, where's the evidence? And we keep on getting this, you know, from people keep on claiming that these areas are hotspots. But just why is it, if these areas are hotspots, why aren't we seeing video footage or photographic evidence? You know, to
Right.
me, it doesn't weigh up. I mean, I'm talking about things that have happened where I live and some areas where we've been called out to and investigated, and we have evidence. And like I say, I'm here now in Filey, and I'm watching things on the video camera, and you know, sort of like I'm actually, you know, sort of like thinking what's going on.
Now,
Yeah.
does your cameras point out over the ocean or a field,
No,
or how do you got your cameras set up?
well, it's pointing due east. Sorry. Now, due east is the North Sea, but these things are not that far away. In, you know, sort of like miles away. These things look like they're coming down just above an house, which is about 50 feet away from my house. Right.
Right.
So the whatever these objects are, they're very close, very close. But then again, somebody did say to me that these things are drawn to me and my surroundings. You know, so it's a case of you know, if you have a look, if you go have a look on Flying Saucer Television, which we're on now as well, you can see that I've got my outdoor cameras, all the actual video evidence of the strange things that I've filmed. And one of the other strange things is that it seems that my camera got zapped twice by a light in the sky.
Really?
Yeah, it's there. It says it. If you have a look, it says outside camera gets zapped. And you can see it. And the thing is, you can see the light come down and it sort of like meanders about where the camera is. And then it moves off to the left-hand side. So the light that comes down, it actually moves off to the left-hand side as well, you know. So these are the kind of things that were actually, you know, have been caught on camera.
Well, that's interesting.
So the thing is, I think what I'm going to do is for one show, go through some evidence and you know, look at what is out there, you know, the different type of things that I've been. I can't say filming because it's just on. You know what I mean? I just yeah, it's a lazy man's way, really. You know, sort of like your security camera, in a way. And hopefully, you know, sort of like when I feel better and get back out there, I'll be able to start filming. You know, sort of like by myself for real again. But just what these things, and like I say, this object that seems to get swallowed up by something, and then it seemed to let the two lights go. You know, sort of like is just spectacular, amazing. I actually called the video when I named it on my computer. I just put amazing. You know, amazing footage.
So you're actually looking out over the sea then, right? Your cameras.
Yeah, well, there's a row of houses. There's like these massive long rows of houses. But in front of those houses is Filey Bay. So there's the bay, you know, which is in the North Sea. It's looking over the North Sea.
Wow, that's interesting.
But coincidentally, this area, you know, is it's got an history of UFOs. In 1974, they lost an aircraft which was actually chasing after a UFO, and it's well documented. It were in the newspapers when it happened. It were in the Mirror. I think it were in the News of the World, and the chap, the pilot, who was called William Schaffner. Strangely enough, he was an American pilot. I think they call them exchange pilots over here, and basically, he the last thing that he said was, you know, like chasing after this UFO, and then they found the actual jet fighter, the Lightning, in the sea, and when they came and they took it out of the sea, you know, they opened the canopy, and there was no pilot. The pilot was not in the aircraft. But the strange thing is that pilot, the seat was still there intact. It hasn't been ejected or anything, and the pilot wasn't in the seat. So,
Wow.
you know, sort of like they couldn't understand how the pilot, you know, sort of like wasn't in the aircraft. The canopy hadn't been opened, and they hadn't ejected, but yet it wasn't in the you know, it wasn't in the cockpit. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So,
strange. So yeah, so how did he escape then?
well, he was never found. They never found him. Now, I've been talking to a chap who knew somebody, and he said that they'd seen the actual aircraft touch a UFO flying saucer. Now, I've tried to get in touch with a friend of his who saw this, and unfortunately, he's in his 80s now. So a lot of these people, you know, sort of like if it's 50 years ago, and they were, you know, sort of like in the 40s, that, you know, sort of like some of them are not around now, you
Right,
know,
right.
and this is a problem. We've lost, and we're losing people that have witnessed and witnesses to a lot of these UFO incidents, and that is it's a problem. You know, it's a big problem, but what can you do?
Yeah,
Uh,
because I mean, we can't document it, right? If we don't have the witnesses on, and now only thing we're going to go by is hearsay and stories. So
yeah, well, we've got most of the story, because obviously it got out, and you know, sort of like the actual the well, what do you call it? The log of what he said when he was flying was released, and it does say, you know, I'm chasing a UFO. So, you know, people have tried to say that it's rubbish and everything, but the thing is, if he said that when he was communicating back to the tower, you know, sort of like at the RAF station, it's documented, it's there, and you can't take it away, you know. And the fact that they were looking for this, chasing after this UFO, and then, you know, ends up in the sea, and then they can't find him, it just adds mystery, more mystery to the story. But the story isn't just a story, it's not anecdotal evidence, it's written down in the log, you know, in the pilot's log, you know, sort of like, so that's one thing. But it's the other persons that have seen this that we're trying to get hold of, you know. And like I say, that's been a problem for me for a few years now, you know,
right,
because I hadn't been able to get out at some point, because I'd been ill myself. Then the chap that told me about it, he'd been ill, you know. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes all the best will, you know, you can try, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, you know. So
right, right,
that were one incident there. Then we've got other incidents as well around this area. You know, where I filmed outside here, and I filmed some substantial UFOs again out to sea in the same area, and I've actually filmed flying triangles coming out of the sea. Now, it has been suggested by other people in this subject that there's an alien undersea base out in the North Sea, you know. Then I've got a dogfight that happened. I used to run a UFO group, and what we'd do is we'd try to go out and catch evidence. And somebody, when I moved away, I'd lost contact with a few, well, all of the members. And one of them, he were on holiday over here, and he were filming something, and he filmed again about 10 miles away a, a ball of light in the sky and below cloud level. It is dark and it is below cloud, but yet there is a ball of light in the sky for at least 50 minutes, and other lights turn up, other bright lights and red lights turn up, and black balls of light turn up. And then out of the clouds, two flying triangles turn up and attack the ball of light by ramming it. You know, it is unbelievable. And I've got that footage. I've got that footage as well. So the thing is, what we try to do is we try to get a lot of this footage out, you know, sort of like into the media, into newspapers. So hopefully, because there's like 6 to 8 weeks when the you know, sort of like when the Parliament goes, you know, like on holiday and stuff, you know, sort of like we get this thing where there's all sorts of things make the newspapers. So it's called silly season. Well, we don't want to be in that silly season. We want to be talking about this footage, the footage and the images and what's happened, not because it's a fill-in, you know, sort of like because there's no news, you know, sort of like, and the news is watered down because everybody's on holiday for 6 to 8 weeks. We want to be now, when everything's gone back to normal, we want to be making news with, you know, sort of like what you would call substantial evidence and videos of these craft. And I'll call them UFOs because we seem now to be getting where people are calling them unidentified aerial phenomena 1 second, and then the next thing they start talking and they're calling them UFOs. So mixing this up is doing nobody any good. I find that it's a tactic what they've used over the past sort of like 6 months, which is divide and conquer, which is you know, we're getting people now, instead of UFO groups, unidentified aerial phenomena groups, and it's almost like to try to divide and conquer. This is what they want to do, and you know, sort of like, so I call everything, I give it its normal title, which are unidentified flying objects. So we've got these objects that are being filmed, and we've got some amazing footage, you know, but we've still not got the answers.
Are they just not looking? Are they just not accepting the footage? Because are they saying maybe it's their, you know, flying objects, and is that why? Or are they saying it's their airplanes or their technology, or are they just wanting to just keep it a hush hush?
Well, you know, one of the things why they're calling it aerial phenomena is because they don't want to be associated with people that are looking for UFOs and investigating UFOs. Right, yeah. Because I don't think I don't think they think that people are professional enough to be in this subject. If they're not military personnel or government, they don't like us involved in this. So what they've done is that to keep away from the so-called nutters and to keep away from, you know, sort of like the people that are doing some damn good work and investigating out there, and have been for a long time. Some people, what they're trying to do is, you know, sort of like stick the nose up in the air and, oh, we're not, you know, this is aerial phenomena now, you know, and in a way, it's, you know, it's dividing us, the people that are investigating, because some are going with this aerial phenomena now, and old school are saying, no, it is what it is, you know, UFOs. I mean, you know, unidentified aerial phenomena, unidentified flying object, you know, it's like, come on, you know, sort of like, we know what you're trying to do. Divide and conquer. So, you know, the thing is as well, you know, I was talking to one of the guys, and no, it was a woman actually, a journalist, and she was saying, oh, well, you know, we're wanting more up-to-date video footage, you know, for stories. And I was talking about something that was 6 months old. Oh, we want something newer than that. And all of a sudden, I burst out laughing because she mentioned the Tic Tac. And she said, we're wanting, like stuff like that. And I just burst out laughing. And she hadn't spoken to me since. Because she said, what's the funny? I said, well, you're the, you. I said, because of what you've just said. And she said, well, what did I say? I said, you just said you want some, up-to-date footage like the Tic Tac footage. I said, well, do you know how old that footage is that you're talking about? What you wrote about 4 weeks ago? Do you know how old that footage is? Well, I said, obviously you don't know. I said, that footage was taken, if I'm not mistaken, in 2004. I says, and you're talking about, wanting some newer footage than something current that happened 6 months previous. I says, that's what I'm laughing at. I said, because I says, I find it farcical.
So you're catching stuff that 2004 that allegedly we didn't have technology to fly stuff like that.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is, it's old footage. So the footage that I was talking about was 6 months old at the time. And whatever it was, believe me, it was better than the Tic Tac footage, because the Tic Tac footage, my opinion, it's grainy. You can't really see the object, and to be honest, it could have been taken in a flight simulator, anything, and I don't believe just because somebody says it's come from the sort of like Air Force or whatever, that it's real. I don't believe a word what G-Man says anymore, and the people that work for G-Man.
Right.
I just find it, all of a sudden, they find the grainiest, dodgiest video footage and put it out there, and people are shouting out, oh, look, it's a Tic Tac. The military's put this out and showing it to everybody. And I'm thinking, I've actually taped over better footage. I've accidentally taped over a lot better footage than that. You know what I mean? To me, that is something that I would have taped over. If I were running out of tape on my old camera, yeah, and I were using my Sony, I would have just rewound and I'd have taped over it. Because, it's like what people do say in the media is that a picture speaks 1,000 words, and sort of like, so you want some really decent footage, and they're always shouting out they want, daytime footage more than anything, which is okay to say, but you'll try get it. This is what people don't appreciate, that just how rare. I mean, it's all right saying, about these things, like we want better footage, but it's very hard, very, very hard, sort of like to get it, unless you're one of the lucky people, one of the chosen ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, hey, Erev, welcome to the show. I mean, it's not like you know exactly where it's going to be, where you're outside. It's not like you know where it's going to show up. I mean, you spend hours out there searching the sky, you know, and you spend numerous days and weeks. You know, it's just like watching an investigation unfold on TV and on these hunts and stuff. And what you see in an hour, they take a week or so to film,
Oh, at least.
you know, just to get your entertainment. So, you know, and people have to realize that. So, and a lot of people don't. And
They don't.
you
That's
know, and
just it.
I've seen some of your photographs and they're breathtaking. And it's, you know, and it's just like, wow, you know, and we're talking 35 millimeter, we're talking, you know, we're talking actual photographs. We're not talking digitals. We're talking old school photographs, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Which I'm not allowed to show just yet because of a contract. This I was saying earlier, you know, sort of like I'm just waiting for this contract. I'll find out one way or another just what I'm allowed to use shortly.
Right.
Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a show and shows dedicated to each video and talk about each UFO that's been seen and do a full show just on that. And I've got quite a lot we can talk about. You know,
Right.
the people can call in, they can give the comments if they want, you know, and you know, sort of like I think that is a way to go down. I'm beginning to think now that is the way to go down. You know, sort of like you know, to sort of like do a show about each individual UFO that has been videoed, show it, you know, and then let people comment on what they think. You know, sort of everybody's got an opinion, you know, and then look at why I don't think it's, you know, something, you know, sort of like mundane, you know, oh yeah, it's just this or it's just that. It's, you know, oh, it's a planet, it's a star, or it's an aircraft. But before, what I used to do, I used to send my video footage away to be analysed. And one of the things what I found, you can have 5 or 10 different analysts, right? Yeah, in electric imaging, you know, like photography, electric imaging department, and you can have one photo, one image, yeah, one video, and you can have 10 people, and at the end of the day, they'd all passed the same diplomas and what have you for, you know, sort of like learning this industry, you know, sort of like in image enhancement and what have you, right? And you could have 2 different answers to a question. What is this? Yeah. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, you could say this is not a an aircraft. This is something not known. It's a craft of some sorts, but it doesn't seem to be anything that's been built on Earth. It doesn't seem to be something that's, you know, been built at one of the big places in America or in Europe or in England. You know, it's not like anything that's been you know, made, you know, for the you know, sort of like industry, you know, as in jet fighters or aircraft, you know, sort of like but it's strange because these people, like I say, they could have two different opinions, but yet they've all passed the same, and you give them the same video footage, and you get, like two different answers to the question. And sometimes you've got to say, well, how's that possible? You know what I mean? How's that possible? You've got two different opinions when they're using the same technology, they're using probably the same programs, like to look at these videos of UFOs, but you're getting two different opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I truly understand that. And, it's just like attorneys, right? They look at the same law and come up with two different opinions.
Yeah, well, that's true. So, like I say, I'm looking at taking control and doing stuff, like more on my show and YouTube than using media. If, sort of like, I don't know. But we'll just have to see where we go. But, definitely.
I appreciate you making this.
Well, I mean, you're in a good location. I mean, especially from where your cameras are pointing and, to capture what you are capturing. So, so, hey, war criminal, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Glad you're tuning in. But it's a very good location, and you got credible evidence because you wouldn't have been in the news. You wouldn't have been in the paper. You wouldn't have your credibility you had all these years. So I mean, you're well known over in UK. So I mean, you are capturing evidence. So yeah.
So just I mean, I'm thinking about doing, an integrated Skype, a little bit like what you did in the cemetery.
They're actually talking about that right now, about the person on the bike. About, if I had a heart monitor hooked up to me that night, when I saw that, it would have exploded.
Yeah,
the guy riding the bike, because it literally looked like a ghost running. So I mean, I froze. I literally froze. So yes, I mean, yeah. So I mean, it looked like a faded silhouette, transparent ghost running through the cemetery.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And I just froze. I didn't know what to do.
What about your daughter? What did she do?
She froze too.
I know, but
because she looked where I was looking, because she noticed the look on my face, and she didn't know what I was looking at because I didn't say anything. She just noticed my facial expressions, and I just like locked up. So, but yeah. So yeah, that was a heck of an experience. I can tell you that, because it was like, like I didn't know what to do, because okay, just like if you saw a UFO right out of nowhere, it's like, so. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen some amazing images, videos of people that have seen UFOs.
Right.
Unfortunately, you've got to cut the sound down. You've got to, there were one, and every other word were expletive. They could not believe what they saw, and they were so shook up, sort of like they couldn't stop swearing. And it is funny, but he won't show it anymore because his wife said, like, that's not good. like swearing and sort of like, they had some young kids. So I've only ever seen it a couple of times, and he won't show us it anymore. And it's good footage as well. It's good footage of a UFO. But when you see something and it gets to grips with you, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it really, it just really caught me off guard. So, I just froze. Yeah. And that's right. Those cat balls and the EMF was going off. So, but it was interesting. It was a good experience. We're going to go back.
I wonder who the person was.
So, but
somebody running away.
So yeah, I don't know, but I don't know who would ride a bicycle, but I don't know. But it was fight or flight, right? That's what they keep saying. So yeah, thank you. I'll make sure to put up the banner. Yeah, please hit the like button. Yeah, but it was. So thank you, War Criminal. But I mean, people got a kick out of it, and I mean, it was funny afterwards, but at the time, it wasn't.
No.
Because I was just like, I mean, I just couldn't believe my eyes because I was like, this is really happening. And, it's like, why is it, people say, well, how come you didn't get a picture of it? When you see stuff, right? Where's your evidence? Because I wasn't thinking of grabbing the camera sitting right next to me.
No.
Because it was like, this is really happening. Am I really seeing this? So, but yes.
I know what you're saying. There.
I mean, when you capture your evidence, right? I mean, do you have that shock factor, that wow factor at first, or do you automatically? But I guess you're just trained.
No.
I mean, you have your. I guess you have your cameras ready all the time, though, don't you? When you're out.
Yeah. No, you still get it, no matter what, because even though sometimes I've gone out and I've said to my ex once, we'll see something, and we've seen it, and in fact we'd seen more than one thing. And I remember once you were telling me, "Can you film that? Look at that." I'm saying, "I'm taking my eyes off this, what I'm filming now, to film something else, just in case it disappears." Sort of like once you get a good subject right in view and you're filming it, keep filming it no matter what, just in case it goes. If it goes, then you can go on to the next one, because I've made that mistake before. I've gone from one to another and then that's disappeared, and then the one that I was looking at had disappeared. So then, so now I just stick to one. It's hard because, especially if it's good, if it's a really good object and clear, it's like, what do? Is this one's good, but that one might be a little bit better. So do you change or do you stick? And I always say, best thing to do is stick with what you've got now. But the thing is, no matter what, when you see something, even now, after all these years of filming, you get that buzz.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like Rebecca said, she thought it was going to be longer. In hindsight, we didn't use, half the equipment that we brought. We didn't do the tour like we wanted to do, the night vision goggles and binoculars and walk around. We didn't realize, in do so hindsight. Yeah. So the next trip, we're going to do a lot more. We cut it short. It seemed like, it seemed like we had all the activity and then it just like stopped, and we were like, okay. And I guess we didn't want a lot of dead time, but we could have made up with the dead time with like walking around and trying different techniques and different things. And so, so yeah, so I agree with Rebecca on that. And
but the thing is, you did it, and you did it live,
right.
And sort of like, and that's the difference between getting out and actually doing it, and people saying the thing is, when you get out there and you're doing it's a different thing altogether. And credit to you, because believe me, sort of like I know exactly what it's like. I mean, the thing is, sort of like you can do it longer, but I mean, you could be there all night. Where'd you stop?
Yeah, but I had the equipment though to run everything for at least a couple more hours. And it wouldn't have hurt for another 40 minutes or more to do some more techniques, especially like she said, like the Spirit Talk app, we could have done that. And because a couple people in the audience had the Spirit Talk app going, and it was interesting in what they were getting. So, and we use it on our Wednesday show with FDL Paranormal.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. Then we had some people with abilities in the audience that were giving us some feedback. And we had one person send us screenshots of what they were seeing through their cameras, and it was like spooky stuff after the show of images. We're like, wow. I mean, like images like of faces. Yeah, that they were seeing, and they were like, we see something, and they were even saying it, and we can't, when we're sitting in the dark, the only thing we saw was the light off of our computers, illuminating. So, and, plus, like she said, people sharing the apparitions they were seeing made you, it did startle us. So, so we got a lot of good feedback, and that's going to go into the next investigation. A lot of good feedback, and any feedback is positive feedback I look at, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we did and what we're going to do on the next ones. Whether it's Bigfoot or whether it's ghost or any kind of investigation, and that's what we look for is that type of feedback, and and that's what we adore, and that's what we look forward to, is hearing that. So, and I enjoy that.
Well, this is it. I mean, the thing is, it makes the show, doesn't it? And
absolutely, it does.
And sometimes the other things that make when things go wrong as well, sort of like, sometimes when things go wrong, it sort of like adds a funny element as well, or something happens.
Right. Well, when you're caught up in the moment, and like Rebecca says, when somebody gives you, hey, do this or try this, you're not thinking right? Because I'm in shock because something's going off or something happened, or hey, try this or go back to the spirit box. And that's great, because people are also interacting, and they're part of the show too. And I like that interacting when people are out there, putting their feedback and getting involved. And I like the interacting back and forth, because I want them to be involved. I want them to be a part of it. That means a lot to us. So
that's right.
Yeah.
This is like I was saying that I'm thinking about doing something different where people can get involved. They can talk about, look, this is what's going on, and ask questions and sort of like flip forwards and backwards to, sort of like live streaming, something that's actually happening there and then, sort of like, but I'm just gonna have to figure out how I get me live streaming from the camera to me StreamYard.
Because welcome back, Penny Van, and and I told Shelby, when we had it all set up, and I told her, I said, the worst case scenario, if nothing happens, nothing happens. and we cut it short, and we'll just do our thing and different techniques and let it be. And it does happen during investigations, and and it's okay. Yeah, it means a lot to us. You're doing this too, and it wasn't for you all, Denise and Rebecca and Standing Stones and everybody else, I wouldn't be here. And that's why we are. And I greatly appreciate you all and Long and Science Bob and Rebecca and everybody, because that's what keeps us going. I'll put it to you this much: that night, after the investigation, Shelby did not realize what it meant to her to see the comments and the support she got from the audience. And that made her want to do more, right? And because she watches the shows and she doesn't comment, and she was scared because she didn't know if she was going to be accepted. And I told her, I was like, it doesn't worry. I was like, it's the people that watch the shows, or they're accepting people. They're great, and it's a very good crowd. And I was like, you're going to have the people, they're either going to love you or hate you, either way. And if they don't like you, they're not going to come back to the show. I said, regardless. I said, but you just be yourself and do your thing, and everything's going to fall in line. And it did for her, right? And after that, it gave her confidence, and she's like, wow, I really enjoyed that. And and they were talking, and they gave me positive feedback, and it gave her reassurance too. And that made her want to do more investigations and other investigations beside the paranormal, right?
She done it before?
Right. So, and now she wants to do a little more on the Bigfoot side. And she's very skittish about anything paranormal or cryptid related. And I'm really skittish. Now, don't get me wrong. I've done a lot of scary things in law enforcement and so forth, but I'm a little bit jumpy. But yeah, it gave her more confidence. Now she's going to start doing a little more things with me as well. So, but yeah. Russ, Penny Vance says, I spent the entire night alone in Color on Battlefield outside in Invervis, Scotland. Wow, that's impressive.
That's amazing, is that?
Yeah, that's very impressive.
Haven't your daughter done that before then, Grizzly?
What's that?
Hasn't she done what, like investigated before?
No, she's never had.
Really?
Never. No,
I didn't realize that. I thought it was something that she'd done before.
No, that was her first full-fledged.
Well, you wouldn't have known.
Right. Yeah.
She did good,
Yeah, I was actually going to do it by myself. And she's like, if you want, I'll tag along. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow. Inverness, Scotland. Wow. Sorry. Yeah, that's amazing, that.
Yeah, it sure was.
But who's talk? I keep on hearing somebody talking.
Yeah, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, at my daughter's house.
Oh.
That's why I'm meeting my mic. I'm in the kitchen broadcasting.
Oh, looking over there. I thought it was somebody. I'm thinking I could hear somebody at my door. I'll think.
No, yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, I'm at the kitchen table. Yeah, I'm broadcasting. I'm still in Louisville, Kentucky. So yeah.
Thank God for that. Flipping heck. I'm thinking to myself, I think this house is haunted.
Yeah, my mic is very sensitive. That's why we pick up things in the studio, or we hear voices, and that's why my studio at my location soundproof. I've got the foam insulation walls, and on the walls and so forth. Right.
That is good, is that? But yeah, well, she's a natural. I think someone said she was a natural earlier on, and yeah, she did very well. And,
Yeah, I'm very proud of her. Not because she's my daughter, but I'm very proud that she did it. Now, like I said, the bicycle and her being touched and the tingling thing, it did. But after everything was over, she was like, you know what, I know what to expect now,
yeah,
and so I'll do it again. So I was very happy with that. So yeah.
that is good. I'm really chuffed at that. Really chuffed. Wow. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing is, it's not as easy as people think. Planning all this and getting it all together and making it work.
Oh no. I mean, we had so much equipment. I mean, we had a table full of equipment because when we were unloading, she's like, how much equipment did you bring? And we had bags of equipment, different EMF detectors,
Yeah.
the different night vision goggles, binoculars. We had 4 or 5 different recorders, different microphones. And like I said, we didn't even use probably 3/4 of the equipment that we brought. So yeah, and like Rebecca said. But hindsight, we had a lot of feedback, and so we know what to do next time. So, and like I said, we had the equipment so we can go longer if we ever run low on juice and so forth. So yeah, so that's not a problem. But anytime we do any lives, any feedback, ladies and gentlemen, always give it because we're always open and we love to have it.
I had problems with my connection that night. I was watching, and then sort of like I don't know if it's we've been having problems over here with the weather, but it sort of like I know that it was raining and what have you, and but there were no thunderstorms, so I don't know why I lost connection. I really don't.
Yeah, that's strange.
But it was a good show. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we try. I mean, we greatly appreciate that. But next one will be a little bit better, and we always try to raise that bar. I mean, each show that we do or each investigation, we always want to raise that bar. But let's face reality. On any investigation, like anytime you go out to film, you never know what you're going to get. So it's always what's in your toolbox, right?
Yeah.
So Penny Van says, Russ, if you and your team get the opportunity, you highly suggest Cauldron Battlefield. So she's recommending that you go out there. The area is mad, she says. If you can't get a sneak in there anymore, though, she says it was years ago when she went. So that sounds like a good area.
And that's in Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland, she says.
Wow. I'll tell you where I've been wanting to go for ages, up to Loch Ness.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Now, apparently, there's been 1 or 2 people over the past 3 weeks that have actually video things.
Yeah, didn't they just have a recent scientific study up there or investigation?
That's right, yeah. And a young woman caught something, and it looks like humps,
Really?
traveling in the lake. And then somebody else has seen something, and it's ongoing. I think I'm in a group. I think I joined a group, sort of like this Loch Ness Monster group, and so I'm keeping my eye on it. But I'm thinking, I know somebody else. I think she wants to go up as well.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And sort of like, and what I'm gonna try to do is see if I can get me StreamYard working on me mobile.
Right.
So I can broadcast on my mobile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I know that, especially, like when you go to these out of the way places, that sometimes your laptop's just not, sort of like going to pick any of the, what do you call it, signals up,
Right. Right.
Yeah, Scotland. Yeah, wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. So, but in talking about investigations, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, I was watching so and so, and it was so boring, right? Their investigation." I was like, I wouldn't say that
Can't help it.
because you never know on an investigation what's going to
No.
happen. I mean, you may have some activity, you may have nothing. And what I look for on investigation is their techniques, their equipment they use, and their bags of tricks, right? Because that's what I learned from, right? Because they may use a technique or a trick that I may not know about, and I may want to try it, right? And that's what I learned. Because, like I said, every investigation you go on, something may not happen. I mean, let's just face it. That's just reality.
That's right.
So,
You just hit the nail on the head there. I mean, you can't make it happen. That's just it. You cannot make it happen.
Right.
And you're in the lap of the gods, really, aren't you? As daft as it may sound, or you're the lap of the spirits for these things to turn up. I mean, even when I know that I'm going to catch something, but you might be waiting an hour or two, and then you might just get a glimpse of something, and then it's gone.
Right.
But you might be out 3 hours just getting a glimpse of something.
Right.
And what can you do? Just record and put it away, and then add to, just add to, other things that you filmed. That's all we can do. All as we can do, really, when all said and done, Grizzly, is we can only do as best, can't we?
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing you can do. And like Denise says, watching it and being there are two different things. And she's right, I mean, just like the fishing shows that people go bass fishing tournament or fishing on TV. They don't catch six, seven fish in an hour. I mean, they film for hours and hours to catch these fish. And cramming in a 45, 50-minute show. You know what I'm saying, with the commercials. So yeah,
of course. Yeah, this is it. But like if you get some, I mean, and to get somebody going, especially on a bike.
Oh, that was wild.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, fire away.
Was he being chased by a wiener?
Oh my Lord. That was wild. I you know what? Like I said, if I was hooked up to a heart monitor, it would have exploded. It would have.
And the other question was he wearing thongs?
How did I know he was going to ask me that?
You just knew it.
Yes. Pigs in a blanket, Penny Van. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but we had a blast, and I'm glad everybody else did, and it was a good experience for her. And like I said, we'll definitely do another one and so forth. But it was a good show today, huh?
Are you going to go to a cemetery again, or are you going to go to an haunted location?
Yeah, I'll probably go back to the same one and probably do another one too. And so don't forget, because we got to check we got to, it was so much fun, Facebook user. And don't forget, we still got to pull the footage off the trail cams too.
Oh, are you going to do a grand sort of like a grand opening of the trail cam? You know what I mean?
So I don't know. I mean, the trail cam footage can be a bust too,
Well, yeah, but I mean, are you gonna do a little video of you doing what you're doing? Like,
probably,
because that'd be good. You know what I mean? because I
Right.
mean, it's not everybody's doing this, and it'll
Right.
give an insight to people just how hard it is as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, the thing is that isn't an easy task.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Like you said, it took it about a day and a half, about almost 7.5 hours to put up all the trail cams. So,
Oh, I should imagine. I mean, I've only ever had a couple of trail cameras, and you know, I like I say, I'm not right good with technology, and somebody had to program mine in and mess about and what have you. So I lost interest as soon as it comes to using your brain. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is far too, taxing. You know what I mean? You know, for my brain and what have you, because some of it is quite complicated. I must admit, Grizzly. You know, you know what I mean. Well, the ones that I were using, you know, sort of like they seem to be really complicated. So, like I say, I had a friend who sorted it out for me. So I lost immediate attention as soon as that happens. So this is where this new equipment, what I've got, this this night vision security camera, it's so simple to use. You know, it's really good, and I'm thinking about upgrading as well. I'm thinking about upgrading to one
yeah.
Really good.
that's actually it's remote controlled. I've got a static one, yeah, but I've seen a beauty, and I'm definitely thinking about getting a remote control one. So that means just by the flick of your finger on your screen, on your what do you call it, mobile phone, you can move your camera's position up, left, right, down, left, right. You know what I mean? So if you're watching something and it moves out of view, you can actually follow it. So I'm looking at getting one of them.
No, that'd be pretty neat.
You know what I mean? I'm definitely
Right.
thinking about getting one of them.
Yeah, that'd be good, especially in your location.
Yeah, I think I'm getting it for a Christmas present.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know, but I think, like I say, I'm going to find out this week about some of this footage, and what I would suggest is that if I don't get any sense back, I'm going to do a slightly different show, and one where I'm going to be actually showing the video footage, and so we can both talk about it and other people's comments as well. You know what I mean? But I've never done that before.
Yeah.
It's going to be something new.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with and that's what I said earlier. I love feedback, and I love people's ideas, and I would try anything anybody puts out there. And because that's what I want. Because I'm here for the audience and the viewers. So and that's what we're here for. And I greatly appreciate it. And if it wasn't from them, we wouldn't be here. And I love everybody, and I love their ideas and their suggestions, and I greatly appreciate it very much.
That's
Especially
right.
their support.
In fact, I'll be doing it anyway, because the thing is, I have got quite a lot of video footage, but it's something to go down a different avenue, I think now. I have given a lot to the media, but over years, and I'm thinking, maybe just go, do things a little bit different.
Yeah. That's the only thing we can do is, try new things, try new avenues, open new doors.
Yeah.
And go from there, and learn from everybody, and learn from the community, and that's the way we do things and learn from other people, and that's what I try to do. So
Yeah, well, it's a good way. It's a good way of looking at that.
yeah, I think so. I think it's a great start.
Definitely there.
I think we had a good show today. What do you think?
Like always, yeah, brilliant. And I'm glad that things went good for you, and I hope the next one goes even better.
Yeah, I do too. I really do.
I can't wait to see the footage from the cameras, from the trail cameras,
Right. Yeah. We're excited to pull that. Hopefully, the cameras are still there, and hopefully we get some good evidence. So, especially out behind the house where we got that one track, and where everything's been bare. So, hopefully, something. Because we got that one picture. We don't know what it was that was staring at me when I was taking pictures. So we know something's out there. So hopefully we catch or something. So if not, we got plan B and C, but we shall see. So if not, I'll try again.
That's right.
So yeah,
definitely.
So that's great. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap it up. And don't forget, we got a show at 6:00 with Peter Marks at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So from coast to coast and around the world, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. We'll catch you on the next show.
Good night, go west.
Godspeed. See you shortly. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye for now.